Hello everyone, welcome to today's live stream, the first session of University Through Our Eyes webinar series. Um, welcome. It's been a long ride and we are excited to start the live stream today. As you are joining in, let's signify, drop your comments. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. Yes, we start today's session now. So it's a pleasure to host the first ever edition of, okay, we can see our guest, but I think she's mute. Okay, yeah, so welcome to the first ever edition of the University Through Our Eyes. We celebrate you all for registering, for signifying interest, yeah, by registering, and also, keeping the group alive. Your comments, we see your comments, we see everything you drop on the group chat, and we are really grateful. Welcome once again to this session. We begin now. So this isn't just a regular session, like I would say. This session is actually born out of personal experiences, personal resolutions, that what we did not know at the start of our journey, in our journey or on our journey, would not affect the next person, would not affect other people. That's why we decided to host this webinar at Seeding Impact Initiative to ensure that that information gap between those who have gone through the university and those who are still on the journey is filled up by people who really learned lessons and can share these lessons to other people who will be empowered and enlightened on their journey. So that's the essence of the webinar series, and I know and I trust that you would have a very good experience even from this first session to the last session we will have. So today's talk show, today's interview session is all about empowering you to unleash your full potentials and achieve outstanding results in your academic pursuits. And we have lots of inspiring stories to share. So I just want you all to get ready to be motivated and encouraged as we delve into the world of determination, organization, and self-belief. So welcome Mosimilolua, welcome Priscilla Olajumoke, welcome Fukan Bello, welcome. I can see your comments, and I'm really grateful that you all are on this live session. So first off, my own story. I'll share my story, then bring up our guests in the house to also share our own experience and give us insights on how we can make our own journey better. Welcome, Eri. So I came into the university heartbroken, and I would explain how. When I got into the university, when you have had series of successes through primary school, secondary school, and all of that, and this is really focused on the Nigerian students, as we have it today. This webinar is focused on the Nigerian student because I am a graduate of the Faculty of Law, University of Ibadan, and coming into school after a few successes on the way in primary school, secondary school, and we got to that point where we had to take WAEC and JAM. Yeah, so with that, welcome our guest speaker. She'll also be here to speak. I'll call her up very soon. So how you have this determination to do even better when you are writing external exams like WAEC, JAMB, and all of that. So I also had that determination while I was in secondary school. But I think my heartbreak started with JAMB when I saw my JAMB score, and I'm like, really? And I had never exercised myself to deal with failure. I think I'm that person that always liked to be excellent, to be that easy star, and having to go through that failure for me, it was not even as if I failed, but my expectation was not met in JAM, and I'm like, really? And I put in to study law. At that time, I had to, for a few days, I was down, and I kept on crying and, trying to see how I can come out from this particular thing that has happened to me to get to the point where I can even keep pursuing the dream to go into the university. And a breakthrough happened. I don't know how, that particular year, something happened somehow, and I was able to get into school. And I mean, I was able to get into school the right way with my results. So even what you should understand what I'm saying now. The result was not that bad, but to my own standard and to my own standard of excellence, I felt it was not what I wanted at that time. And it affected a lot of things for me. Starting school with that kind of mindset that I was not really what I thought I was, the success was probably a thing of the past. That was how I felt. I felt like, okay, this time around, I'm not as brilliant or as intelligent as I used to be because I encountered that failure and I did not even know how to handle it. And of course, like as as a student, as a new student in a new environment, you don't really have friends, you don't have people to speak to. I was coming from my own secondary school, and I was the only person that gained admission into University of Ibadan at that time. So I was the only person, and I could not even reach out to anyone to speak to. I even pride myself sometimes in handling situations all by myself, and that was how I started carrying this wrong mindset that I was not worth the admission that was given to me. So when you look at the module, you will see that the first word or the first note you will get from me is a note of encouragement, that for the fact that you've been given this admission, it is a privilege. It is a privilege that you should treasure with the whole of your heart. You should even aspire to be better, because this is a lot of people are looking for this opportunity you have now. A lot of people will give a lot to to get this opportunity you have. So you can't throw it away. You can't look down on it. You can't look down on this opportunity you have. So I started with, a lot of doubts, self-doubts, doubting in my abilities, that I was not able to, meet up to that standard that I felt was my own standard for excellence. Okay, and of course, that's why I decided that nobody should actually go through that kind of self limitation, because when you doubt yourself, you would call people's attention to the fact that you are not good enough. Please, I would like us to use the comment section properly. Keep putting in your comments. I can see the good evenings, I can see the greetings, but I want you to keep, if something resonates with you, share it in the comment section, and I would love to read them. So if I'm saying something that you want to hear, or you are belonging to hear from someone, just put it in that comment section. So yes, from doubts, from being scared, or thinking, oh, am I really worth this experience, to having conviction that I was truly worth the experience, I was truly worth the admission, I was worth every good thing that could come my way in the university, and facing the the situation and the environment head on. That was how everything started. Like, from doubt, I went to conviction. But guess what? Here is the thing I want to us to point out or take out from this story. When I got this, is it this light was in my 400 level, and if I had asked questions, if I had joined a webinar like this, if probably I or I had mentors, or I'm not going to say mentors per se, but if I had shared, yes, these experiences to people probably earlier, it would have not lingered. And if I had decided to see myself the way I truly was, deserving of everything at the initial stage, or if I was able to identify that that was the problem. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say. If I was able at the beginning to identify that this is actually the problem, is your mindset that is the problem, we would have, or I would have had better experiences, and I would have been able to savour the experiences even earlier than I started enjoying my experiences. So my story is from doubt to conviction to knowing that I'm not an imposter. If I have something, or if I'm succeeding at something, is because I'm worth that success. So that's the standpoint I want us to get into today. That whatever this privilege, this success that you've been given, you are worth it. You are deserving of it. You are deserving of the opportunity to be in the university, and we are going to use the opportunity wisely. We are going to use the opportunity excellently, and that is where I am going to add. Okay, I think our guest is logged off now, but yeah, that's exactly what I want each and every one of us to take out of this webinar today. That academic excellence is, it just comes naturally when you are able to see your worth, when you are able to savor your experience, when you're able to enjoy it, and not just go through school because every other person is going through school, and because yeah, it's a good thing to go through school. No, but because you have something to do with these experiences. If you are getting something from what I'm saying, please just drop it in the comment section. Okay, yes. Priscilla is saying, I'm deserving of the academic success given to me. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Um, Yeah, I really saying doubt to conviction. Yeah, you need to actually move from doubt to if there's anything making you or limiting your expectations from yourself, just put it aside, because you can actually get everything that you desire to get out of your experience from school. So there's no one who doesn't deserve to experience better in their academics, to experience academic success. So another thing that helped me was to surround myself with positivity. You know, um, there are times that you just know that if you don't get the right kind of association, you would be limited. You will definitely be limited if you don't begin to search out, take a step backward and search out for the right associations to fill your environment with. You would limit yourself eventually. So you need to, for academic success, for excellence, even in the university, one thing you should be very keen about is your association. You must get the right kind of people around you. Surround yourself with positivity. Another thing that started my turning point, I said my breakthrough season actually happened in 400 level, but my turning point where I knew that there was something wrong, I started identifying it, although it took a lot of time for it to now, like, because it's something that has sunk deep, that was already there and eating deep. You would have to take a lot of washing and a lot of intentionality to bring yourself back to the place where you trust in your abilities. So that was what happened to me. But at a point, I started listening to really listening to the promptings or the directions I was getting to the people I needed to follow at that time, to my association. And I had friends who were very positive, who would always say, you are brilliant, you are intelligent, and it helped me. You are wise. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. You are wise. And it just helped me start building my self-esteem, a broken self-esteem that no one would know, only myself. And probably when I talk, when I say some things, I just don't want to be seen. When I got into to the university, funny enough, my first result was very good, very good. But that imposter syndrome came back, and I'm like, you know, my mind, I will keep getting that thought that I'm not I'm not this brilliant. So, it was a battle of fear, because I did not want people to recognize that I was this brilliant. So I would always hide. I would always stay in one corner. When people ask me, what did you get? I'm not even going to say anything, because I did not want any unnecessary attention where people start asking me questions, and they would now discover that I was not that brilliant. But the results said you are actually brilliant. You can even have the best results in your class, and still you doubt in yourself, you don't believe in yourself. It is very possible. But all this will change, because we are speaking into your thoughts, into your environment, your associations. Even as we are speaking, you would start to get promptings, and you start to get directions on what to do. So let's welcome our guest speaker. I hope she's on the call. Welcome. You can unmute so we hear you. I can't hear you.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Good
Okay.
evening.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Hi. I've been inspired by your talk. Really. Thanks for
I just had
sharing.
to love for you. So please kindly introduce yourself
Ah,
to us.
sorry. Sorry.
I said you should introduce yourself to us. Let's meet you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Inyeneobong Daniel. Yes, and I'm a fresh graduate from Political Science, University of Ibadan. Yes, and to the grace of God, yeah, I'm graduating with the first class. Yes. So
Okay, I was waiting for that. If you did not say it, I would have said it. So she's a first class graduate from political science, and
yeah.
you really need to listen to her. Like I would, you know, I'm someone who believes in storytelling. Like when people tell you their story, it will be, it will easily stay in your memory when it's something you can relate to, something interesting. So that's why she's on this call today because she's a storyteller. Okay, so we are going to start with, yeah, how was it? How was your experience in the university? You spent how many years? Okay, don't cast
Six.
don't cast.
Six. Greatest UI,
Okay,
yes.
so how was your experience?
It was a fun one. Fun was challenging, was demanding, lot of ups and downs, but it was a really pleasant experience that I cannot exchange for anything. Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask this question. What do you think was like the outstanding factor for you that guaranteed your academic excellence during your university days? What's that
So
outstanding thing? That's that thing, like that as outstanding factor for you.
okay. Uh and one, of course, I'll say is God, because I believe I cannot do anything for myself. Yes, that He helped me in everything. And there are a lot of factors, but I know that I can't start without mentioning God. God was the constant in every highs and lows. Ah, okay. Another one I would say is scriptures, words of God that were encouraging, like inspiring, like, okay, I'm holding your hand, you're not alone. You be the head and not the tail, you never fail. Like those scriptures that I can really hold on to. One of them that I had was Philippians 1:6, and it said that being confident of this, that who started a good work in you will complete it. There are other factors too. Another one I had was relationships. Yes, like you mentioned, like the people around you that can see what is in you, even when you can't see it. I had a very strong foundation, according to what a friend said, because in 100 level, I had someone sit me down very early before I had gone for any classes then, and he asked me that what is my goal for the semester. And then I didn't ask like anything. I just know that okay, I wanted to go for the best. What is the best? And I'm going for the best. That's one of the reasons why I came to UI. Because I asked myself, what is the best university in the country? I deserve the best, so I need to go to the best. So when he asked me what is my goal, I was like, what is the highest a person can get in a semester? It was 4.0. And I was okay, my goal is 4.0. And I had this kind of strong foundation where he helped me to build my goal, helped me to build, okay, this is what you want. How do you want to get there? And and then the follow up, like, okay, where are you? Are you reading? Why are you not reading? When is your test? When is your assignment? So these little things that really add up at the end, right? Another thing I would say is another factor is it's not a big one, but it's very important for me, is attending classes. I try as much as possible. It was an advice I got to attend all classes, write notes, do the assignment to yourself, submit on time. That's just one of the factors too. Do I go on or it's okay?
Okay, so from what you shared, I want to pick something. When people go into semesters, when people go into sessions, most times we start without having clear goals. We start without having any idea of what we want to achieve from that session, and it is very wrong. Very wrong. You can't start a
True.
journey without counting your costs, without knowing where exactly you want to get to. If you don't have
You said it.
any goal, and I mean clear goals, and what do we mean by clear goals? You set a goal, you set a purpose, like what is the, why do you want to achieve the goal? Why? Is it purposeful? How does it relate to you? How does it relate to your life and where you are going to?
Yeah, the why.
Clear goal. You now have to break it down into steps, into daily steps, or break it down into weekly steps, what you can do
Yes.
every to get results, even as you keep going. So I think that is just very profound. If you don't have a goal, a set goal, you would definitely you miss your way, and you would have so many lazy evenings because you would not be able to factor in your time properly. So that's like very, very profound. So the topic for today is actually academic excellence, improving your grades. So I want to ask, were there any season in your university days that like you were struggling to improve your grades or keep your grades sustained and all of that?
Mm, thank you so much for that. Well, there was a particular point that was, I think I was in 200 level when I saw my results. I think I had like almost all B's, and it was kind of painful because I felt as if my GP was dropping when I saw all the B's lined up, and I just cried, and I didn't know how to move on from there. But I remember that I got an encouragement from someone to not give up. So how I moved on to building it. One was I kept showing up that okay, this will not discourage me, this will not like shift my goal. I'll keep aiming for the best. I'll keep showing up in reading, showing up in classes. I will not give up. And then I kept believing. I did not want to stop believing that I can be who I want to be and I can achieve what I want to achieve. So there was this faith um in what God had said to me and what I can do if I put in my all efforts. Another thing was I did extra. I kind of knew what all my I don't know how to explain it, but I kind of know when everybody will read and where they will stop in their reading. I'm like, okay, if I was like normal everybody, I'll literally stop here my reading. So I don't want to be like everybody. I want to go the extra mile. So I do more than what every other person is doing. If everybody read and stop in page 2, I'll read to page 10, and then I'll ask myself questions and I'll just do I call it the extra, doing the extraordinary to be the extraordinary. So I go beyond and above my notes, and then the place of prayer because life is spiritual and there's so much you can do, but humans are still humans and they have emotions and they can want to feel you when you have written right, but they just had a bad day. So that's the place of prayer where it goes before you and clears the way. So I've mentioned showing up. I've mentioned doing extra. I've mentioned believing, having the positive mindset that you are not a failure because this has happened and that has happened and it looks like the end. It does not mean you should call it the end. You should not mean that you should think of it as the end. Still see the positive, still believe in yourself and tell yourself that this is the least you would ever be. Your grade is the least you ever be. And then you put in extra, you work extra hard in building it and keep believing that it would grow and it won't stop that way. That helped me because especially when I was in 300 level, I was told that in in, in this level your grades drop because you are doing more courses and they are hard courses, so everybody's grades drop. And I told myself that I am not everybody because everybody grades drop does not mean mine can't and won't drop. So I had that strong belief despite everything I was seeing, despite the online classes, my notes. I barely understood what was happening in some courses. And sometimes I would just cry. But I knew that I won't drop. And that was like my best result. Like that was when my GP rose after it fell in. 200
Wow.
level. It really rose. So I know that okay, I don't have to accept the mindset that everybody has. I can choose to what I believe in, and as a man, think it so easy. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's splendid. Really, wow. Okay. Please, I hope we are jotting things down. I'm like expecting our comments to be coming in, saying this is what I learned. And I can see some Favor says clear goals, yes. Erioluwa says, count the cost. Priscilla says, go the extra mile. Indeed, go the extra mile. Something I'll just like to point out from that is one thing that you must be very intentional about doing in the university is to discover yourself. If you
Mm,
are, if you just come into the university to follow everybody's pattern, you would miss your way. If you want to do things the way it has always been done, just getting advice from everywhere, and trying to see, you just be confused actually. So even in getting advice, getting counsel, because we are doing this webinar now, speaking, saying our own stories, this webinar series is actually going to bless you, and is going to inspire you to be better. I'm very sure. So we are sharing these experiences that are so dear to our hearts, because we want you to learn from them. And as we are sharing these things, it is not a, it is not a, it is not, we are not saying, okay, this is it for you. We are
yeah.
saying discover it for yourself. Discover what it is for yourself. These are stories, these are experiences. What can you do with your own experience at this time that will turn the story around, that will turn how can you be inspired, and what posture can you take with your inspiration that will change your story forever, that will change your grades, and not just your grades, but every other thing that will happen afterwards, that can change it, sporadically. So if there's anything that you are hearing now that is speaking to your mind, just keep writing it down. And what I'm saying you should type it in the comment section is so you won't forget that you actually thought about these things. So you would discover yourself for effective study. If you don't discover yourself, you can't study effectively. You would do morning till night, you do night till day, you and you find out that you forget everything you've read, probably because you've not discovered what your own pattern is, who you are, and what you should do to get the best out of yourself. I'll say my own story on that. And I always felt that everyone should read at night. I am better at night to do other things aside reading, except when it's exam time and everybody has to focus on their books. On a normal day, I would prefer to do every other thing at night aside read, because I am very focused during the day, very focused. I love spending my time wisely during the day. So at night, I like to rest and wake up very early, because anytime I sleep, I find out I will still wake up early. So not sleeping has affected the entire day for me. So do you get, if you don't discover yourself, you can't read, you can't study effectively. So the first thing you have to do, even as like when we are done with this webinar, is to ask, check your patterns, check, okay, do I sleep often at night? Probably I should not stress myself. I should start reading very well from the beginning of the semester, daytime, keep reading, going to the library. It is not a flex that you've not gone to the library in all your days on campus. It is not a flex. Nobody will give you an award. So if it will be better for you to visit the library sometimes because you assimilate faster during the day, please do so. And if yours is night, find a conducive environment. Do you know that, okay, we were talking about setting clear goals. You know that some people don't know where they will read until exam time. That's when you see people jumping from venue to venue to venue to, if you had planned it before, and okay, during exam time I will start staying in these places because I want to read, you would have gone there like 3 weeks before to survey the environment. Okay, these are these places. Then you start to, I'm saying all these things from the experiences I've seen, like how people rush and start planning things when they could have planned it earlier. So discover yourself for effective study. You identifying your strengths and your weaknesses will help you to know where to, focus on when you are dealing with, your own activities. It will help you know what to focus on and what to pay attention to. Identify your areas of improvements, where you need to make adjustments, where you need to make improvements, and work on them. Work on them like you in fact, like you just want to work on yourself. Don't pity yourself when it's something that you need to improve on as fast as possible. Let me give you an instance. This there's this issue with procrastination, and that procrastination will definitely hinder your progress in school. You can't procrastinate and submit excellent assignments. You can't procrastinate and do your assignments a day before. Some of you will still pass. So just imagine you started a week before. Just imagine. Just imagine. You would have done better at that assignment, at that delivering that paper. So plan your time wisely and do better at knowing yourself. So I would ask our guest another question. Um I know there's this thing I always imagine. I imagine people being I just imagine people who really succeed academically as very organized people. Like people who are very organized and they know how to plan their time. So I want to ask, how do you define a determined and organized student? First off, and how has being organized helped you as a student? Okay, let's ask, are you organized, ma? Because that's my
Depends on
own thought. I
organized.
feel like people that I feel like people that are very like are intelligent and brilliant are organized people. That's people who don't really get good grades are not really so organized. So please tell us.
Okay, first is what is my understanding of being determined and being organized, because everyone can have different interpretations to it. For me, being determined was knowing what I wanted and going after it despite whatever I saw in my test or this or that, whatever the circumstance. I know what I want and I'm going after it. I think that is basically the simplest way I can put to be determined. Yes. And then to be organized. Okay, if I want to look at myself with a third eye, I can say, okay, the way I was organized is I was organizing my notes and um my my
I
pens,
agree.
I guess. Because I knew that I had a note for each class or half notes. If it's 60 lips, half for one course, the other half for another course. So I had notes, neat notes every session for everything. And then I had another note, like a full 40 leaves note for a course where I'm writing down extra points and doing those extra, going the extra miles. And I had my ruler. I just had these things organized and in place. And I'm not always rushing down. I know that these notes are here. This is my study note. This is the resource I wanted to have. During the time of online classes, where it was really kind of like a new arena, very different, I learned another form of being organized. On my file manager, I wrote my course and the level post 300, and then I had first semester, second semester. In the first semester, I had all the courses, and then in every course, I have all the resources I need for that course. So there was just this like I know where everything now. I'm not I'm not confused. I know I'm going here, I'm going there. So that was just my, I kind of like, I think I'm organized in those areas. Space. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just thinking about it. Really? Wow. So I know anyone who has like very good results, just ask them. Okay, let me even say another thing she did not say. In When you get into where she stays in school, you would see sticky notes. I'm like, what are you using these sticky notes to do? But she's someone who
This
really plans. And yeah, I've seen her planning journal before where she writes time and things she does. I'm serious. People really
okay,
take their
okay,
lives seriously.
okay. There is
People
that
really
too.
take
I didn't
their,
mention that.
their lives very serious.
No,
So
like plan your time.
I see, I know. If you really want to get this academic excellence, you need to start taking yourself as serious as the results
Mhm.
you want to get. If you want to get
Take
a good
yourself.
result, take yourself
Take
seriously.
yourself
Take your
serious.
time serious. Take your Be very intentional about the things you are doing. You are not just anybody in the university. You are the best candidate to ever get an admission while you are still in the school. So use the privilege wisely, plan your time, plan your life. Sometimes people don't meditate, like think about things they want to do, just weeks later. There are sometimes you can really decide what you want to do in a semester from the very first day of that semester, and it will keep working out. Another thing I would just like to cite here is that I would like to say here is that once you are on campus, learn from everybody. People make this
Mm.
mistake of when they come into school, you only want to learn from people who have good grades, people who are on first class, people who, are getting results. See that person on third class, there's a reason why that person is on that third class. Go and ask the person, what are the lessons you've learned so far? And what are the pitfalls, or what do you think made you get this grade? Not in a condescending manner, but in a from a standpoint of honor, that sincerely, for you to even go through this school and graduate with honors, because it's still honors, you must have something to say. So don't have that stereotype in your mind that when you come to school, you only want to your seniors, you meet some senior most times the seniors who are willing to tell you everything may not be the person who is like having the best grades. It might just be someone who did not even, probably on a second class, that can help you hold your hands and make sure you don't make these mistakes. Don't look down on them. Don't look down on them. They have virtue and they have value to give out to you. So honor everyone you come across in the university environment, and let them pour out that wisdom. Don't let them leave. When you meet graduates, when you meet finalists, don't let them leave without telling you something that can really help your journey. So be very open to receiving instructions, to receiving counsels from them. But as I said, and like I said, in the process, discover yourself, so you know those ones to take and implement in your life, and those ones to spur you up into intentionality for you to get a better result for yourself. And okay, yeah, I'll just ask another question, which is, I think, my last question, because we are wrapping up very soon. My last question
Yeah.
is, what are the most important lessons? I'm just talking about lessons now. What are the most important
Yes.
lessons you learned on your journey that you would like to share with our audience?
Okay. Thank you very much. Lessons. Let me just give five because I've learned a lot, but we'll do with five. One of the things I learned is it will cost you. Whatever you are going for, you have to make sacrifices. And I'm not talking about the sacrifice going around now, but sacrifice of your time, of your energy, of your strength, of of intentionally saying no to some things because you want to have the more time to study. So it will cost you a lot, and be willing to pay the price for what you are going after. Be willing to give it your all. That is what I know that it cost you, but the reward at the end is worth the price paid. And second, one lesson I've learned is the gift of men. Sincerely, you can never limit or like say that human beings are not important in your journey. I can't stand and say I did everything myself all through 100%. I was motivated 100%. I was 100% encouraged. I knew what I wanted to be. I was all pumped up, energized. There were times of intense load that I'm like, I'm not doing again. Like, I want to just run and leave all of it to just continue. And then there was these guys and people that were really there, like, no, re- remember what you are going for. Remember, you have gone this far. You can't give up now. So there's the gift of men is your network, your relationship, those you surround yourself with is very important. And they may not necessarily, as our host said, be on a first class, but everyone have something to offer. Everyone has value, something you can learn that will help you in your journey. My closest of friends, she's that we graduated together. She didn't really graduate on a first class, but I knew that this girl impacted my life. She was like, there were times I would lie down on the bed, I'm not coming to class. She's like, are you okay? You get up on that bed, I'll come to class now. And I know that I just have to get, if I don't want trouble, good trouble. But like, your relationship matters. That is one of the most big lessons I've learned. The third one I would say is on mindset and faith, like I've mentioned earlier, having the right mindset and never stop believing. With God, all things are possible. I had to really meditate on that over and over and over again, because there were times that I remember a particular test, a math test. I used to like, I'm not really that strong in mathematics. I believe I understand. No, I don't believe like it was. In secondary school, I would like, I will understand everything in class. But in exam, I'm like, where did they bring these questions from? That was how my relationship with maths was. So my first one or my second exam course, second course I was taking in maths, the first test I made a major mistake, and I I didn't finish when the time was up. And I remember everybody left the exam on the test hall. I just sat and I was looking into space. I was like, God, you can't fail me now. You can't fail me now. Like, we're not going down. And then I worked extra hard. I remember how it was. And then I think I had the highest mark still in that course. So having to maintain the right mindset, even when everything is looking like it's not happening. Having to believe that even if I'm not seeing something, something is working and I won't stop, I will not give up. The first thing I would say is be very strategic and intentional about where you are
Yes.
going, when you are going, with whom you are going. It's not a must you are everywhere at times. It's not a must you are reading MTN, you are reading all through the morning, in the night. Know what works for you. Be strategic. For me, I knew that okay, I love to read during the day. I'm more awake during the day, but in the night, I turn to sleep. I just sleep. So I know that okay, I don't want to be pressurized when I'm seeing those guys. Because I know that for me, one thing I loved, like I really loved this when I go out to read in the night is to sleep. I just love sleeping outside my bed. Like I'll read first, I'll read, but then when it's time to sleep, I just love it. That's how I just, I really so know what works for you and build on that. Your strengths, your weaknesses. Okay, this is who I am. Be very strategic and intentional. Your time is precious. Use it well. And the fifth lesson, this last and fifth important lesson I have, okay, I mentioned belief. I won't say God, but yes, never give up. God will never let go of you. And the thing I've learned is not everybody would actually like have this grade, but then you are at the university for a reason. You are in university for a purpose. You are growing, you are learning, you are stretching. Don't just limit yourself to I want to just read all through my life, my academics. Be a rounded person. Go on, do extracurricular, do something new, stretch yourself. watch seminars, go for seminars, go for conferences, like be rounded. Don't just be in one spot, one corner, reading anytime they see you are reading. Have a rounded life, build your social life, your network. These are like, you're in school with billions of people, sorry, not billions, but thousands of people, right? And these people are rich networks, very rich, and you don't know where or when you use them. So as much as possible, relate to your classmates. You can learn from everybody. Anybody can learn from them. So don't just live lone ranger life. Be rounded and interact more with people. Learn, grow, stretch, and make the most of this wonderful, wonderful opportunity of being a university student. Thank you so much.
Wow, wow, that's like wonderful words at the, rounding off session or part of this video. And I really want to celebrate Favor for giving us these comments. I can see them, and every other person that is, giving us these comments. That was, really great. And from the last thing you said about associations, I'll just, like to even wrap up that point, because when we say the right associations, we don't mean only people who are on first class. We mean building your network to where it can work for you, to the point where it can work for you, where opportunities can come to you because of the people you know. So in the school environment, there are lots of opportunities, and even our next webinar is on, positioning yourself for scholarship opportunities. You should not miss it. So there are lots of opportunities, not just scholarships, but when you surround yourself with the right association, they would not see opportunities and not tell you about it. I'm serious. Like they won't see opportunities. It's like a magnet. Once they see opportunities, they just transfer it to you because you have the right set of people with you. So I'd also like to say that when we come to the university, and these are my own, like I'm already just sharing from what she has said, just trying to put everything together. When people come into the university, there's this thing that people say that I'm free to do whatever I want. I'm free to live whatever life I want to live. So I'll just like to sound this alarm to you that freedom comes with responsibility. You are free doesn't mean you should do whatever you want. Whatever you do will definitely affect your future, will definitely affect your life. Whatever choice you make, whatever decision you make while you are a student affects the next years of your life. When some people graduate, there's this confusion that starts to build up because the seasons in the university or the days in the university was not used appropriately to determine what the next days will look like. So your freedom comes with responsibility. Take it up as a responsibility to determine the next phases of your life and plan it out. Prepare yourself for the next phase of your life. Don't take your freedom for granted. You are free, of course. No one is doubting that you are free. But what are you using your freedom for? Are you using your freedom to create value for yourself so that you would be a value transfer system to the next generation? Or what are you using your freedom for? To enjoy your life? It's just a waste of time if you spend your days in the university thinking that you're enjoying your life when you are just wasting time. So, and then if we have both talked about our own style of reading, and it's different from what people usually say. The truth is, if you would like to pass well, I would say start early in the semester so that you would not rush things towards the end. That's when you can now say, oh, I'm a day reader, let me read only in the day. But if you are saying that during exams you've not read all through and you're saying you're still a day reader, what are you saying? What are you saying? You would have to put in that extra pressure. And that's the thing about knowing yourself. For some people, they know they can't work on that pressure. So why don't you just start early, start working on these things so that you don't have to um put in so much work all at once and you would break down. So please know yourself, start early, start reading early. And I'll just say, believe unyieldingly in yourself and let go of fears that hinder your growth. I started with my own story, how fear almost hindered my beautiful experience, but thank God that I regained my confidence and my consciousness of the worth that that I carry and that I have within me and that I can still develop. So just be very conscious of your worth and know that things are getting better. You are growing. Embrace your growth. Embrace every step of the way. Even when you make mistakes, say embrace every experience and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because they are opportunities to learn and grow. Every mistake is an opportunity for you to take that step again and do it even better. It has been a wonderful time on this webinar session. Thank you so much, Inyene, for sharing this story. We congratulate you once again on your
Thank you so
graduation
much.
from the university and for coming out with such wonderful grades. Thank you all so much for
Thank you.
joining us today on this
Thank you.
enlightening webinar. I know you have enjoyed this session, and I want you to show that appreciation, not just in the comment section, but we have a feedback form for you to fill on the group. I'm going to drop it on the group. So I want you to fill that feedback form, and then keep an eye out for our next webinar session. It will be scheduled, and I'll send the scheduled session to the group. Stay inspired, keep celebrating your excellence, and embrace personal growth with determination and organization. Don't forget to send in your questions too. If you have questions, we will definitely deal with them some other time. Thank you, and it's a pleasure having you on this webinar series. Thank you.